the first thing I wanted to ask you, just because it came to my attention this week that it pisses me off.
Oh no, what have I done?
Does it piss you off when you're watching a movie on Netflix and they shrink the credits at the end or skip straight to the next movie?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That pisses me off because that's where I educate myself a lot of the time. You know, you read those credits and you're like, I didn't know that person was connected to this film and they're connected to that film. And
Yeah. Not so, I don't see it so much from that point of view, but Mum and I used to play this game where we would, and we used to do it in the movie theaters a lot as well, where we'd sit in the audience and we'd like laugh at people's funny names. And so we'd find like the weirdest name we could, like we'd shout out the weirdest names we could see on the credits. And it was just a fun game that we used to play because we felt like these people worked really hard on this film. We want to sit through the credits and we like, it's boring. So we decided to make it fun for ourselves.
But you've hit the nail on the head. Lots of people work very hard on these movies and then Netflix just deny them their screen time.
Yep. All for the sake of making them dollar bills, yo.
It should at least give you the option to sort of shrink it if you want to. I don't know. It probably does. Maybe
I think you can like click on it again and like it pops back up again. I'm pretty sure you're like it may be able to, but don't quote me on that.
Be that as it may, it should be the other way around. Give these people their screen presence and then we get the choice to minimize. But
I agree.
What a great way to start.
I agree.
Consensus. Woo!
We agree. Yay.
Just real quick, welcome to everybody watching Up Late.
Hi, friends.
Chloe, Glenn, and welcome.
Glenn, Chloe, who? I'm Glenn. No? Okay. It's been a long week.
I like your nail color there.
Yeah, changed it today.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've been doing this new thing because I can't go get my nails done, and that's something that used to decompress me. So I've been doing it myself, and I'm not good, but it still makes me feel better.
What color would you call that? It's hard to tell on this screen.
It's really hard to tell, but it's like a fire engine orange, like a fire orange. It's quite bright.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Ranger tips.
I heard Ranger and I got excited, and then I heard tips, but I heard something else, and I'm like, hang on a second. It was like a 3-second montage of like, yes, no, yes.
At least you're branded tonight.
Ranger tips, yep.
With your mug, you're branded. I'm not.
Oh, yes.
So long as one of us comes to the party.
I take it to work with me too.
Yeah, you're west side, I'm east side.
Represent.
You've done that before.
I'm gangster, obviously.
All right, let's talk about movie stuff. What do you want to talk about?
So I was just watching a movie before we started recording. It was seriously boring, so I didn't really mind turning it off. And like it was boring at the start, but I kept going because I saw Orlando Bloom, and then I kept going and then he died. And I'm like, yeah, well, there's nothing in it for me anymore. So.
Hang on, is that a huge spoiler? Like, are you gonna just ruin it?
I don't know, maybe. But Orlando Bloom dies in everything, like absolutely everything. And it's the whole Sean Bean thing, and it's very frustrating for me. Sean Bean just dies in everything, and so does Orlando, and I'm getting frustrated over it.
Well, that's their way of guaranteeing they won't rock up in sequels. You know, maybe they hate sequels too.
Maybe.
Although they've both been in some of the biggest ones.
True, very true. But yeah, so that's what I was doing before we started recording. I can't. It's like a sort of a war movie about like an Afghan post in Iran that gets like shot at every day. I don't know what it's called. Like, it wasn't great.
They shrunk the credits. You couldn't tell.
I'm pretty sure Scott Eastwood was in it too. Like, it looked like him.
Well, there's your reason to watch.
It's another reason. It's not as good as Orlando, but you know, when you watch those movies, I don't know if this ever happens to you, but it's not a great movie to begin with, but then all the faces kind of blur in together. You can't tell who's who or what's what. And so you can't like connect that character's storyline to anything. So it just becomes like this whole fucking blur of nothing. And it's just, that's what happened to me in this movie. I lost it.
kind of like where they lack on script, they overcompensate with faces and names.
But it wasn't even faces and names. I didn't know half of these faces, but they all looked exactly the same.
Yeah, right.
And then put them in army uniform. You can't tell them the same. They just give them different names and different backstories, but then you can't tell who's who to tell who the backstory is. Like, it's just... Anyway.
Well, sounds like a winner.
I think so.
The exciting news, we'll stay on Netflix for a minute, which you may have read, is that Netflix acquired the rights to the entire catalogue of Roald Dahl works.
I did hear that.
Now, this is good and bad. Like, it's good, definitely good, because it means we might see some really exciting adaptations of stories that haven't been adapted before. We might see some retellings of ones that have been done before that might benefit from an update. It might mean we get some of his adult literature, adapted, because he wrote some really great adult-only stuff, which is, incredible. So, but then there's the fact that Netflix tend to fast-track these things. They sort of put them on a production line, get them out real fast, and sort of dumb it all down a little bit.
Yeah. I think they cater to the masses instead of the staying true to the storyline sometimes. And I get it, because we just consume so much content these days that there's a demand for it. So
yeah,
I get it from their point of view.
Yeah, completely agree. And I think the consequence of that is that the quality just gets lesser and lesser, and the average moviegoer doesn't realize it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. We're all, yeah, I completely agree. But I would love to see like proper adaptations. I don't know if I want them to mess with Matilda, because I do really, really like that movie. And again, that takes me back to childhood. So I would be kind of upset to see that retold, but I think I'd still watch it.
I spoke to Ben about that one. I can't remember if it was on camera or just privately, but because we were talking about all these adaptations that they could do, and it might have been on camera. I think it was Sam was part of it, and she said, "I don't want to see Matilda touched." And I'm like, "Well, neither do I." But
another reason I love her.
But if it, yeah, totally. She wants to team up with you so you can get your revenge on us.
We're going to tag team you in the least dirty way possible.
Yeah. But the Matilda thing, like, if it was part of, say, a series of adaptations they were punching out in like an anthology kind of way, you know how they did on Fear Street with Netflix? They did like 1, 2, and 3. If it was like that, where you had, I don't know, like Danny the Champion of the World, Matilda, and the Twits. Like, if it was boom, 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 they were just doing it as part of a greater anthology, I'd be up for it. But otherwise, let's attack the ones that haven't been made, or have been made poorly.
Yeah, do the ones that haven't been made first, and then gauge that, and then see how we go. Because there'll be a poll on it. If they're really, really good, we might be like, yeah, okay, we could do with another adaptation of Matilda. Like, show us another version.
The only way I could go for Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory being done again, the only way I could accept that is if it was purely to facilitate the Great Glass Elevator story.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Because that's never been told. I mean, it was in the final act of the Tim Burton film. But if they made that book into a movie, you'd kind of need to sort of preface it with the first story.
Willy Wonka. Yeah.
So I'd be up for that.
Interesting.
But otherwise, yeah, I'd love to see the Twits. That'd be fun. Anyway, just
They recently redid The Witches, did they not? Is that Roald Dahl?
Yeah, that was shithouse.
Yeah, see, the original one, going back to horror, I wouldn't classify that as horror, but that used to scare the fucking shit out of me.
No, that is. It's a family-friendly horror film, for sure.
You would call that family-friendly horror? Okay.
Yeah.
Because Angelica Houston used to fucking scare me. Like, she would haunt my nightmares.
Exactly. On Monday's episode of Good Movie Monday, the whole theme was family-friendly horror films as we lead into Halloween. Because it's funny, on the show and on Fake Shamp, when it comes around to Halloween, we always do a focus. And it's funny how when Halloween does roll around, we focus on family-friendly films that are horror.
Yeah.
Because Halloween is much more of a family-oriented kind of holiday or celebration to me and to the other guys. But yeah, The Witches is one. We didn't discuss it on the show, but we discussed films like it, like Return to Oz and things like that.
Which I saw, and I was going to click on it today. And then I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to scar my children that much today. I think we'll give that one a skip. So
it's one of the scarier kids movies, that's for sure.
I want to watch it personally because I haven't seen it, but I don't think I'm ready to subject them to that just yet.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think I might go back and watch that this week, and then we can regroup and I can tell you my feelings and thoughts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, just watch it with a little bit of context, knowing that they're adapting the books, not the MGM film.
Right. Yeah.
What else?
So staying on horror, if you like, I am slowly sort of becoming obsessed with Halloween because my kids are becoming obsessed with Halloween. They'll see anything Halloween themed on the television or elsewhere, and they'll just freak out. They think it's the coolest thing ever. We have this house down the street from us that they're Canadians, so their house is done to the max.
Wonderful.
They call it the Halloween house. So we go there on Halloween, and last year it was COVID friendly. So they had this whole pulley system set up where they could drop the lollies into the little thing.
Yep.
The kids just thought it was phenomenal. So they're becoming obsessed with Halloween, which means I'm kind of...
This is fantastic because I was not going
to... I knew you'd be excited about this.
Well, I was not going to push the Halloween thing on these videos, simply because I know that it hasn't been your favorite thing. When we did the Up Late video with Hubie Halloween and Ben, you actually said that Halloween's not your thing, that you don't get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think your kids have pinpointed exactly why it's good. Like, it's this fantastic, harmless, innocent, and just fun. Like, in a world that just is begging for fun, Halloween comes along.
When I go back and look at it as well, like when I was a kid, one of our favorite things to do, my cousins and I, where I used to live on the Surf Coast, we used to live almost right next to a cemetery. So what we would do, and we didn't even do this on Halloween, we did it whenever we wanted to. We'd go and we'd go down and walk through the cemetery and scare the shit out of each other all the time.
Yep.
And we would I would sleep near the window, so my cousins would tell me that there's a man standing next to my window and scare the shit out of me. And to get back at them, I actually forced them to watch Scream and Jeepers Creepers. And they're still the only sort of two horror movies I can really watch. But that was back when I was 11, 12 years old. And I'm just I completely forgot about all of that. So you're bringing back to the surface all these repressed memories that I have, Glenn.
Well, I have a very strong focus on childhood things. Like, if you've listened to the show enough, you'll know that I sort of go back nostalgic all the time, right? And, that kind of stuff is a rite of passage, I think, for kids. Murder in the Dark, those kind of games. It's glorious stuff. And most really fevered, horror fans, the really big ones, that's how they grew to love horror, just from childhood experiences of being scared and always wanting that feeling. And
see, I personally still do hate that feeling. I can't stand it, but I'm starting to see the appeal.
Yeah, you might.
Do you know what I mean?
You'll experience it vicariously through your kids.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious to hide behind things and scare the shit out of them. But if someone does it to me, I get really angry.
This is great. Well, let's touch upon Halloween things in October. Just every week, maybe just one point of conversation, and if you've treated your kids to a particular film or whatever, we can talk about that. But
sounds good.
It sounds very good. The other thing I thought you might be more excited about than I am, I could be mistaken. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Chris Pratt.
Well, what a cast! You got Chris Pratt and Charlie Day.
Day.
Jack Black. Keegan Michael Key is in it.
He's in everything, and I'm fucking loving it. I'm loving it.
Seth Rogen, and what's the girl's name from Emma? I think it's the girl from Emma. She's
Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yep.
She's great.
She's playing Peach.
She's really, really great.
Yeah, she is. I agree.
So
she's got one of those very pretty but not beautiful kind of faces. Like, she's how do you describe that without being offensive? Like, she's sort of pixie like.
Yeah, elf-like.
Yeah.
Big eyes, but I watched I like anything period movies, you know what I mean? Like, So when Emma came out, I was really excited to watch it. I'd never seen her before. I wasn't really impressed with the first part, and then there was the second half of the movie, and she grabbed me. Like she absolutely grabbed me. And then she was in that chess miniseries, whatever that was,
the Queen's Gambit or whatever.
Yep. Fucking chess is like cricket to me. It's literally the worst. And I sat there and watched it because she's so good. She's so good.
I agree. I really did like Emma. Like that was one that I think I wrote about it and gave it a pretty glowing review at the time.
She made me feel all kinds of things that a movie hasn't made me feel in a very long time, and she nailed it. She absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to her as Furiosa, just because she brings a real certain thing to the screen, and that would be a completely original thing for her to do.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, in terms of her stuff. Cool.
Well, but Chris Pratt, Charlie Pickering, Charlie Day.
What are you doing?
Oh, I have no idea.
You know how to trigger me.
Sorry. Oh God.
Yeah, but like, I mean, at first I was so excited because I thought this would be another live action film. Like I thought, yes, because that original Super Mario Brothers movie, which got a Blu-ray release, or gets a Blu-ray release next week, I think, in Australia, is one of those cult films that just, was never appreciated at the time, but now you watch it back and it's like, there's a reason they've re-released it. Like, people love it. And John Leguizamo and, Bob Hoskins, what was it, Dennis Hopper, like, it was a great... It was the first ever video game adaptation, and I think it's one of the better ones.
I have experiences with that movie, and I'm just not impressed. So,
what are your experiences? What kind?
An ex tried to make me watch it, and I just I've never been able to do video games. I know I'm so boring. I've never been able to do video games, and like Super Mario Bros. Just didn't really interest me. But
well, yeah, look,
I was forced to sit there and watch it.
There's a number of contexts when I say it's a good film. One, it's me talking, right? That makes a difference when I say it's good. Like there's a scale, and there's good, and then there's Glenn Good. But I liken it to sort of your lesser movies like Howard the Duck, and they're not great movies, but they're cultish, and the cult following, it's earned that for a reason.
Isn't Howard the Duck the one where he fucks the chick from Back to the Future?
She's in it. She's in it. Leah Thompson.
They get it on, yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm not making that up.
Howard the Duck is like the movie starts with him reading Play Duck, and it's stupid. It's stupid, but it's one of those films. Like, for example, the Melbourne International Film Festival this year cancelled it, but they did have, because of COVID, but they did have Howard the Duck scheduled to screen at the Astor on the big screen.
Wow, okay.
In 35mm print, and it sold out. Like, people like these type of movies, and I put
I've never seen it, honestly. I've never seen it, but the only thing I know about it is that is it Leah Thompson? Leah Thompson fucks a duck. Yeah.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
she takes Pluck a Duck to a whole new
meaning. I mean, will we see Howard the Duck in the Marvel universe, in the MCU? Because he's already appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Howard the Duck?
Yeah, he's in the second Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, I don't think I've seen the second one.
Yeah. It's a very small role, but he's in it definitely, which everyone got excited, like, oh, maybe we're going to get the Howard the Duck movie that we've really wanted, Because
that's cool.
The duck character in the original film doesn't look like the comic book character. It doesn't. And
but it's a comic book too.
It's a Marvel comic book.
Oh, you teach me all kinds of things that I never even knew, Glenn.
Howard the Duck is in the Marvel universe. Like,
there you go.
In comic books,
how is he not in Avengers?
Yeah, well, that's it. He crossed over into so many different Marvel universes and storylines, and he was a prominent figure. And that's why George Lucas in the 80s made Howard the Duck, to try and, capitalize on his popularity. But just...
You know what?
What?
Fuck Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I want to see Captain America and Howard the Duck.
Yep, me too.
That's the Marvel movie I want to see.
Yeah, totally. Or Hulk and Howard the Duck.
Iron Man. Jesus Christ.
Well, could you imagine if like something went wrong with some kind of genetic experiment and it turns into a movie like The Fly where the Hulk and Howard the Duck get fused and you got this giant green duck? Like, oh, amazing.
That would be great. I would watch that. I would watch that.
I'm going to have to, yeah, I'll watch this video back, just take a mental note of what I said and write it.
Yeah. Can I voice it? That's my duck. Is it good? Say yes.
Well, I mean, Marvel is owned by Disney, and that was very Donald.
Sorry.
That's all right. I can do it. I just choose not to. See, that's the difference between us.
That's true. Yes, I choose to embarrass myself, and you choose to have dignity.
What else? Oh, something very Chloe is that the next Fantastic Beasts got a title.
Don't even get me started. I cried when I saw the title of it. I cried.
It's a good title.
I cried. Like, there is never in the history of any franchise ever has anything made me feel the way that has made me feel. And then the memes started rolling in and it made me laugh. But I am like so fucking pumped.
For those that don't know, it's called The Secrets of Dumbledore. Which is a great title because that just like it plays into Harry Potter so nicely, you know. I know there's always been the connections, like the actual connections to Harry's storyline and all that, but this is just a nice one for those kids that grew up with Harry Potter who are now grown-ups, get a sort of a grown-up look into that world.
Just think of it like I was 11 years old when the first Harry Potter movie came out. For my 11th birthday, I went and saw the first Harry Potter, and that's where the obsession started. And then the series ended when I was about 17 or 18. So I had grown up with it basically throughout my whole teenagehood. And then Fantastic Beasts came out and brilliant. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I actually don't think I've seen the second one in that series yet, or maybe I haven't, I just can't remember. But then when this title came out, like it made me feel like I was 11 years old again, and I was discovering Harry Potter all over again, and it was just...
I like, you know, this will be blasphemous to somebody like you, but I enjoyed the first Fantastic Beasts more than any of the Harry Potter films. And
I can see why. I'm not going to give you a bad rap for that. I can see why.
We've had that discussion. I enjoy Harry Potter very much, particularly number 3.
Mine too.
This Fantastic Beast kind of feels like it's taken out of that. It's cut from that cloth, you know, that number 3 cloth, and it's a movie for grown-ups. It's a grown-up version of Harry Potter, and
which I think is important because the OG Harry Potter fans are grown up now. I'm 30 years old and I'm still obsessed with Harry Potter, and they're still catering to my needs, which is amazing.
Yes, and I mean, I'll be the first to admit I cried a little bit at the end of that first one.
Oh.
You know when he loses his memory in the rain.
Oh.
Yeah, totally. And I wasn't a huge fan of the second one, but I'm excited for this one, particularly because I think Mads Mikkelsen is the perfect replacement for Johnny Depp. Like, how good's that?
Who?
Mads Mikkelsen. He's the guy that played Hannibal in the TV series Hannibal. He's been in so many movies.
So Johnny Depp's not coming back to play Grindelwald?
No, Johnny Depp's been cancelled.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But Mads Mikkelsen...
How can you cancel Johnny?
Well,
never mind. Let's just move on from that. We're not going to get into an argument today.
Well, it's not an argument. He was, you know, there's.
I mean, like, we're not going to get political or whatever.
Okay, we won't talk about that. But Mads Mikkelsen is arguably a far better actor anyway, so it's great to see, and he's got the look for it. When you see what he looks like, he was one of the villains. He was the villain in, I think, Casino Royale, the James Bond film with Daniel Craig. You'll know him.
I think I already know who it is, but I was going to wait for a long time to admit this because it's kind of blasphemous. I've never seen it. I've never seen a James Bond movie.
That's all right.
I think I've mentioned that in my own podcast before, but I'm just not interested. I don't know what it is. I love action movies, but I'm just not interested. Are they really that good?
Yeah, well, for fans, like, they're amazing. And there's this 60-year history with them, and when you go, I don't know where I'd tell you to start. That's the thing. Like, if you were going to get into it, do you start from the start and watch them all? But for a newcomer, that would be boring because in the 60s, they were different movies to what they are now. They weren't as action-driven back then.
Yeah.
And yet, do you start with Daniel Craig's and then work backwards per Bond and then do their films in order? Like, I just don't know where you'd start.
So tell me this. There's a reason that there's different James Bonds. Is because James Bond dies and they have to get a new James Bond? Is it just an alias? Like, what is, like, I don't understand it.
It's the same character all the way through. It's timeless. It's timeless. So whatever era or year a James Bond movie is made, that is the time that he exists. Like, he doesn't really age, right? They ignore the logic of the passage of time.
Right.
So he's always supposed to be a young sort of.
So Daniel Craig is Sean Connery. Sean Connery is Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, all that.
Right.
They're all the same. And the confusing thing is, other characters in the franchise are the same actors, and they do get older, right? So, like Judi Dench, for example. Before her, there was another actor that played M, and he started the franchise with Sean Connery when he was young, and he ended the franchise with Pierce Brosnan, I think, when he was old. So his character got older, but James Bond stayed the same. He's kind of like a... And then you get into all of these fan theories where some people do think it's a code and he's a different person simply because of the fact that others age around him.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing, but when you tap into that universe, it's glorious. It's wonderful.
I mean, I'm going to take your word for it. I don't think I'm going to see one anytime soon.
No. And if you did, I would just probably say to you, start with Daniel Craig and do his films. And if you really like that, by the time you get to the new one, you're in the universe, you know kind of what it's about, and you can start going and exploring backwards.
Yeah. My hubby has been like pestering me to watch them, and I'm just not. That's not interesting.
I think you would like them. I think you would really like actually GoldenEye, the Pierce Brosnan one. That was his first one.
I do like Pierce Brosnan.
Well, that's one of the best James Bond movies. It's just Alan Cummings in it. It's great.
Ooh, I like Alan Cumming.
Yeah.
Like, I like all these people. Yeah, maybe.
Sean Bean's in it.
Okay, maybe I will. I do
That's
like
the
Sean
one.
Bean.
That's
Boromir.
That's the one I would have. Yeah, I'd say that's the perfect entry point because it encapsulates some of the old with some of the new, and yeah.
All right, I'll see how I go. I'm not going to promise you anything.
That's all right. I got a new phone, and every time I go to look at how long we've got to go, the screen's gone black. It goes to sleep. I'm like, fuck. We're good. We've got a couple of minutes left.
You and your bloody new phone.
Oh, fucking hell, I'm taking screenshots left, right, and center. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing with it.
See, I turned on this thing, right? And it's the thing on the back of your phone. And it's where you double tap on the back of your phone and it screenshots. So I'll be watching like TikTok or something, and I'll just have like 6,000 screenshots in my camera roll of like TikTok that I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I took that.
Well, as you know, I accidentally took a screenshot of you on Snapchat. Like you had a video of your boys and I accidentally took a screenshot. But the thing with Snapchat is it tells the other person you've taken a screenshot.
I didn't see it.
Well, because I'm like, I don't want this to feel creepy. Fuck, what the hell? I went to turn the volume up. Unfriend. I went to turn the volume up and suddenly goes screenshot. I'm like, oh, Jesus. So what's the first thing I did? I screenshot you.
Yeah. I got that message and I'm just like, I didn't even notice.
Oh, fuck.
Just shows how aware I am some days.
Real quick. They may be filming the Woody Woodpecker 2 movie down your way.
Down my way?
I think Geelong area region is one of the shooting locations.
Oh, have they called for extras yet? Because I like doing extra work.
Well, with that duck impersonation, Jesus, yes.
I am so in. You should see my other impersonations. I mostly do my husband.
There's many more.
Turn the bathroom lights on.
So many more videos to get into, and we can explore your impersonations, I'm sure.
I wish I could do impersonations. That'd be a great skill to have.
It certainly would. All right, I think we're out of time, but I have to open my phone to know. Yeah, what were you going to say?
I don't have any more things that I was looking at. Speaking of Bond, I did see that somebody was like in talks to be the new Bond, but I didn't pay much attention to it, to be honest with you. But
you can never buy into James Bond rumors, though. Like
there seems to be a lot of them.
Yeah, because I think they intentionally misdirect people. You know, like I think quite often, or for example, with the new one that's coming out, obviously it's been delayed for over a year, 2 years now. But for a long time, I think it was deliberate. For a long time, they were teasing people that there might be a female James Bond, which got everybody up in arms and angry and all this. You can't change the gender.
People in a tizzy. Yeah, right.
It would have, but I kind of agree. Like, just keep him a bloke. Like, that's how he was written in all the books. Just if you want to create a strong female character, go and do it. I mean, make your own franchise.
I agree with you in that.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm pretty sure that was a misdirection. That was a false leak. They just sort of sent that out to get people worked up and talking about it, so that
publicity is publicity.
When the movie comes out and that turns out not to be true, then everyone's like, "Thank God,"
So, who would you like to? Are they mostly? Oh no, Pierce Brosnan's an Aussie, isn't he? Not?
No, he's Irish.
He's Irish, is he? Okay, so they're mostly British, UK.
No, you had Sean Connery is Scottish, but all the characters play him as an Englishman. Like James Bond
have all characters who have played James Bond been from the UK?
No, Sean Connery was Scottish. George Lazenby was Aussie. Pierce Brosnan's Irish. I think Roger Moore, Daniel Craig are definitely British. Yeah. So no,
Timothy Dalton, is he was an American, isn't he?
No, I think he's British.
He's British. Okay.
I think he's a Brit, if I'm not, or Welsh. Don't know.
There you go.
He only made 2 movies in the franchise. George Lazenby only made 1.
Do you think traditionally they'll keep another sort of European actor as?
Yeah, I mean
George Bond. George Bond.
George Bond. That's his dad.
He likes his martinis stirred, not shaken.
That's great. Slippers and a pipe.
Yeah. Is that where that comes from?
I don't know. But
that
I think
Austin Powers gag.
I think that they will always keep him male. They may experiment with changing his ethnicity, like make him a black guy, because Idris Elba was once upon a time rumored.
Ooh, I like him.
But when actors get too big in Hollywood terms, they're not good candidates for James Bond. You kind of got to catch them when they're sort of on the rise, but not quite there.
Right.
Yeah. George Lazenby, the Aussie one, he was a car salesman in Australia, and he just went for an audition and got the role of James Bond.
How good's that?
I know. And then his ego got to him, so after the second film, he demanded more money, and they fired him. He could have been...
You're James Bond, mate. Just be happy.
Yeah, he could have been a Titan, but anyway, there's a whole documentary about that.
Oh my God.
There is. Being James Bond, it's called.
They'll make a documentary about anything these days.
They will. All right, that's the end of the video.
There you go.
I could do these for fucking hours on end, but
I did no research and we're still good to manage to talk for half an hour.
Excellent. Yes. I've got more stuff to talk about, but we can save it.
Sounds good.
So I'll see you next week.
You surely will.
See ya.